Step in the ring, no fear, all bite, hands up high. We train for this fight, bell gon' ring, it's war on sight. This is boxing life, this is fight. Sweat on the floor, we grind, we climb. Every bruise on the body means we're on our time. Shadow in the corner, punch sharp like a knife. Every round, every rep.
Yes, good evening, £5. This is Mr. Neutral back with another episode of the weekend preview show. This show is sponsored by BoxingFightZone.com for all your boxing merchandise and apparel. The link is in the bio. Please check it out. Tonight, I'm joined by an international array of stars from Scandinavia to Canada to the United States. We have DJ Pat in the house. We have Brett the Boxing Man, an Englishman abroad who now resides in the beautiful country of Canada, and home of boxing, our American representative here at Red Corner Boxing's, giving all these guys giving their thoughts and viewpoints on the following weekend's card in Egypt, Pyramids of Giza. There it is, Glory Giza. And we're going to have a bit of a bonus debate as well about sanctioning bodies right now. And the question that I'm going to ask these gentlemen, are the sanctioning bodies signing their own death warrants with Zuffa? They seem to be playing right into their hands. We'll get the guys' viewpoints on that whilst they give their thoughts on this card. And we're going to start at, I think we'll start at the top. Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven for the WBC World Heavyweight title. And, of course, the WBA. I'm going to come to you, Brett, first. Brett, the Boxing Man, a man in Canada. You've been a voice about the state of boxing recently, you know, from many of our conversations and shows that we've done. But is this a new low by the WBC in this matchup, first and foremost? And, you know, how long are you expecting this fight to last?
We're starting at the very... Sorry, mate, I missed the first little bit. We're starting at the very top, Usyk, yeah?
Yeah, Usyk and Verhoeven. Yeah. And the impact of this is as a headliner and the WBC's, you know, sanctioning this fight.
I don't know, mate. I'll be honest with you. We'll put the WBC to one side a second because that's a whole nother conversation. I've gone through ebbs and flows with this, and in the fact that Usyk has fought everybody, anytime, anywhere, any place, and he's the best at what he does. So this type of exhibition, give me fight, I don't begrudge him it, to be honest. I don't actually.
But it's not an exhibition, mate.
I know.
Jams has put up. The WBA and the IBF can't be won by Verhoeven, only the WBC and the ring. So there's already it's informal is that there's infraction between the four sanctioning bodies at the moment over this fight.
No, I'm referring to it as an exhibition because I think it's a run over for him. I think he does what he wants whenever he wants. You know, you consider the fact that he's took Fury's best, he's took AJ's best. You know, he was a killer at cruiser. This is a give him fight. If you asking me, I'll put my prediction. Then I'll say my feelings on what the WBC are doing. I think he stops him later on, but only because, mate. I think he'll play about with him. He's just so skilled, so technical. He'll hit him at will, but then he might hold him up a few rounds and just keep him in there for the spectacle. But look, for the WBC to be doing that, it's an absolute joke to the game, really, in terms of like the fighters that go out there and put their life on the line to get their shot. For then this to be put up for a shot is absolutely outrageous.
I talking of that shot, you know, Usyk, as we last knew after he beat Daniel Dubois, going to come to you, home of boxing. You know, we were told that he had 3 fights left, and he's picked Rico Verhoeven as one of them. Now, you know, Brett the Boxing Man made a very good point there. He's earned his way to the top of the tree, and as far as picking fights are concerned. but have we given him too much license in this matchup?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people just are hoping that it's only going to be this fight, that he'll do like this type of exhibition type of fight, and after this ends, and hopefully he's successful, which he should be, he'll end up facing. Many want to see him face Cabello because he's another undefeated fighter that's the mandatory for his WBC, and I'm hoping we could get that fight. And then the third one, which I have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully it was only this time and it doesn't happen again, because if he fights another like kickboxer or like any type of fighter that doesn't make sense, it's definitely going to become a big issue now, and many people are going to lose respect.
Absolutely. Alex the Great, welcome, mate. You know, I don't know if you've been listening in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Thanks for coming through anyway, man. I'm going to go to DJ Pat next. Settle yourself in, mate. Listen to that. I'm talking about the impact on the sanction of the sanctioning bodies sanctioning this fight. Well, 2 of them have, and the WBA and the IBF. Saying that Verhoeven can't win those 2 belts, but the WB can win the WBC and the ring. Think about the infractions already between the sanctioning bodies for this fight. But I'll come to you, DJ Pat. Let's get your viewpoints on this. About the matchup in the first place when you first heard of it, Pat, and still, is it any more appealing to you now, bearing in mind what you've been hearing already?
No, it's not appealing me at all. But I'm not surprised that the sanctionist body is giving okay. For example, the ring. It's Turki Al-Sheikh, WBC, Mauricio Suleiman. He's a bit allied with Turkey. So I don't, of that, I'm not surprised that those 2 are in line. But yeah, it stinks. It really stinks.
Yeah, it certainly does. And let's go to Alex the Great. Welcome, Alex. Hope you got the gist of what we're talking about here. I've talked about, the fight that 2 belts have said, yes, we'll sanction this fight. 2 sanction bodies said no. It's a joke matchup. 1-0 Verhoeven against the 24-0 pound for pound, arguably number 1 in the world right now, declaring 3 fights that he's got left in the game. One of them is Rico Verhoeven, as we know of it. However, we have to come back to the point, and I think it was Brett the Boxer Man who said that there's guys that out there that work hard for their rankings, all the rest of it, Ajit Kabayel, and yet the WBC seem to ignore their own, development programs within the WBC to sanction these fights. I mean, Ajit Kabayel's been, it's a tragedy that Rico Verhoeven was picked over him.
I agree. So if you want me to go off, obviously the sanctioning bodies who said, hey, yes, this 1-0 boxer who hasn't had a pro fight in, 10 years, oh, of course he can win our belts. Why not? It's all a matter of they got paid to accept this outcome. And when you have the Saudis backing it and what they want to see is what they want to see, they'll put the cash forward. That's the only reason this was accepted. But those sanctioning bodies still should be ashamed. The WBC, I've had a nickname for them for years, the We Be Corrupt, the We Be Crooks. They've always had their hand in the cookie jar. So I've had little respect for Mauricio Suleiman ever since he became the head of it. And he's never proven me wrong. So I've always disliked the WBC, even if it is one of the 2 longest, historic championships in boxing. I just can't respect it. It's a joke. And what was the other one? Was it the WBO?
The WBA and the IBF have said that Verhoeven can't win the belt. The Ring magazine, obviously owned by Turki Al-Sheikh.
Yeah. And that one's
as does. But this interesting question to you guys next is what ties in with this. And the very fact at the top of the show I said, is the sanctioning bodies now and the outrageous decisions, devaluing their belts and just playing into Zuffa's hands right now. Ring Magazine, Zuffa, owned by Turki Al Sheikh. The WBC seemed to be in bed with Turki Al Sheikh. Are we actually seeing this fracture split in ties that, you know, these sanctioning bodies were promising when Zuffa come onto the scene? You know, the IBF have turned around and said, well, you know, we didn't sanction Jai Opataya, right? But we will for another fight with Zuffa. Make it make sense. Are they playing into Zuffa's hands?
Pretty much, yes, because, you know, like I said before, the money is going to decide where this goes. And that's been the case with boxing throughout its long history. Where the money is, the sanctioning bodies will follow. We've made exceptions for Canelo. We've made exceptions for Floyd Mayweather. We've made exceptions for a lot of great moneymakers in the past. And now that the Saudis are in bed with boxing, they're in bed with Zuffa, that's where money is going to start to go. So the sanctioning bodies, whether they try to stand on principle for a little while or not, they're going to come over in the end because cash is king. And in boxing, that's all that matters to the sanctioning bodies. Even if you are the lowest ranked contender, if you have a ranking with that sanctioning body, you're going to fork over some money. So that's all they care about. They just care about their percentage.
Absolutely. Home of boxing. A, do you agree with Alex? And B, do you see that this inevitable exodus from traditional sanctioning bodies, that, you know, and that exodus in sheer numbers, will that force the sanctioning bodies to the Zuffa table?
Oh yes, it definitely will, and I feel like this been talked about in the past year, or ever since Zuffa came. That's been the conversation for every time. It's just been the conversation. Whenever a belt organization does something that isn't the best for boxing, we always just hear, "Oh, this is why it's about to help Zuffa even become a bigger league." In which I just see, as long as they keep on doing this, and they probably won't stop. How Alex the Great was saying. The cash is king for them, so they're probably never gonna stop. And then eventually, Zuffa will get they'll start getting more like love and of like fans being like, yeah, I might as well just support Zuffa because these guys are not doing it correctly. So yeah, I do agree. I do see Zuffa eventually starting to have more respect, and they'll definitely start taking over a bit more.
Absolutely, mate. Now I'll come back to Brett the boxing man. We had multiple shows on Turki Al Sheikh last year that you did with me. I remember them very well, about control of the game, Brett. You remember them shows?
Absolutely, mate.
Are you starting to believe now that element of control that Turki Al Sheikh, as we alluded to last year, and as that sheer power broker that he is, that he's just being patient and saying, right, I know what's going to happen. These guys are going to have to come to me in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been said already. Money talks, doesn't it? Which is unfortunate that he can throw his weight around at the table because of what he can pay. I mean, the reality is, I still have a little bit of faith in that. I'm not sure that Zuffa will take over, but stuff like this makes you reconsider that thought, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But the sanctioning bodies, I remember when Zuffa would first come out, and you know, the general consensus was that of mockery for Zuffa, Dana White.
Exactly.
Amongst the hardcore boxing traditionalists.
Yep.
What's changed in this time? Is it because of the sanctioning body's behavior towards matchmaking, or is it Zuffa being strategically brilliant? Well, I don't think it's that.
No, but there is a bit of, you know, play acting there of like when your time is right to pounce. He's always known that he's got a vision. He's, you know, the way he's been aggressive with so many things that he's been involved in. But with this now, at first you're right. I think we've had shows on it where we've all laughed, going, "This ain't gonna work." Dana White, what's he gonna do? And we've had all these kind of discussions. But now when they've got, you know, they're jumping across multi platforms because Zuffa isn't. I know it's with Paramount in it. Is it with? Is that the,
Sky Sports in Britain
Yeah.
and Paramount Plus
Yeah.
over in the States.
but they're finding their way on other shows, like obviously Netflix as net platforms. Like it's, it is certainly from when we had this conversation a year ago, mate. For us going, yeah, no, they won't be here that long. It's now going down that route of, this is now getting very, very interesting.
Yeah. Now, lads, we've all seen the social media vibe towards Zuffa. And especially the guys that have got maybe belts with them or Pattaya, and they've sort of signed the bad boys of boxing. They've not been taken seriously. He's been laughed under the table, but with the backing of the WBC and the Ring magazine, are they starting to outweigh opinion now? Anybody can chime in that one.
No, I don't think so. But I need to correct something here. Zuffa has never been a lead promoter on any of the things what been on Netflix. It has been, the last one was Gold Star, Spencer Brown, that was the lead promoter. Zuffa has no really promotion contract to do stuff like that. It's only Dana White was blathering too much about what he can do and what he can't do. It's TKO. That is the management what is doing this.
I mean, are they getting around the alley act by declaring that these people are not promoters, they are matchmakers?
Yes, basically. They are matchmakers. They have nothing else to do. It's as I remember correctly, it's Sailor or TKO, what is the promotion company who's doing all this Zuffa stuff. Zuffa has nothing.
But in essence, what they're doing is they're not changing anything. They're just redefining the title of the promoter to matchmaker. And, funny enough, we do that over here as well.
But there is one thing that is bad for when they come in. They lower the cost of what the fighters get. And this is the livelihood for the fighters. And somewhere down the line, this will struck against Zuffa and boxing because they have no knowledge about what they're doing. They know what the UFC is. They know what MMA and stuff like that is. Boxing is a new brand for them. And when we go back to those governing bodies, no, I don't think they sit in the knee of Zuffa. They will never do that because they have too much integrity and too much honor instead of getting too much money out of them. That's my point.
Are you saying the sanctioning bodies have got too much integrity and too much honor?
Yeah, when it's against Zuffa, in my mind, because you can see, for example,
let's talk about that integrity and honor.
When IBF did strip Yayo Pattaya, that was the first mark. We don't mess. We don't do anything what you do. We don't do what you say.
But then they said they were going to sanction the Usyk Verhoeven fight and had to backtrack because they were getting questions asked at them again.
No, because at that time, this time, it's Alexander Usyk and this, and it's kind of it's sanctioned because he's the unified champion in heavyweight.
Well, let me ask you a question about
if it's good or not. I don't know.
All right.
If I can retort to that,
let me ask you, Alex, about honor and integrity amongst the sanctioning bodies. We talk about how sanctioning bodies, or they claim that they're there for the boxer, but when they continually overlook their own rankings to grant other fights so other big names can make money, they're taking food off people's tables. As far as I'm concerned, in boxing, Rico Verhoeven's got no place in boxing. He's a kickboxer. He might as well. Alexander Usyk might as well be fighting Jake Paul. As far as I'm concerned, he'll probably get a better fight than this clown that he's going to fight tomorrow night. And I say that in the most respectful manner I can because it's got a clown show. Let's get to your predictions.
With this one, there is no honor in the sanctioning body. The only reason they stripped Jai Opetaia is because Jai Opetaia is not a big moneymaker. That's the only reason they felt comfortable
It was a
stripping him. This was
political statement, Alex, because the
exactly.
masses in the media were piling pressure on the IBF because of Zuffa.
Exactly. But
They did.
if
They
it
had
was a
already
big
signed
player,
the
if it was a
contract and were
Tyson,
going to get paid money. They
yeah,
had to give that money back.
yeah.
So
If this
it
was a
wasn't a
Tyson Fury,
financial.
they would not
It,
have withdrawn their sanctioning of the fight. If this was a Fury and AJ, they would have said, "Oh, of course," because they're going to get, their 3%, their 5%, whatever it was of the purse. They want the money. But if you want my prediction for this fight, I already gave it in Prediction League, but I'll say it
yes,
on
you did.
camera. It is a round 3 knockout for Alexander Usyk. Rico Verhoeven gets hit too much even in kickboxing. Now, he's tough. He is a tough dude. He's a Dutch giant. But this is a whole different game. This is where you cannot block with your kicks. You cannot use your kicks to keep distance. You are in punching range with the best heavyweight boxer in the world, who is better than you, faster than you, more skilled than you, and he's going to knock you out.
There you have it, gents. Round 3. Homer Boxing, what do you think?
No, yeah, I definitely see a knockout as well for Usyk, but I've seen Rico. He fights I think 5 rounds and they're like 5 minutes each, so that's like what 25 minutes. So he's definitely gonna be able to I think move around for sure 25 minutes, and that'll be like the 5th
Oh, it's
round.
a very slow dance move because these guys just like stop, they reset, and they're just on their toes for a good 20 seconds looking for an opening to kick.
Yeah, no,
As Alex was alluding to, it's a far different sport when it's just constant contact to your head and body. There's no time to reset for kicks and things like that. And Verhoeven, in 3 minutes, is going to feel the pace. Alex, he could use to fight 15 rounds of boxing. Tyson Fury doesn't do 15 rounds, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen one of his sparring videos. He'll do 15 rounds and say, right, that's it, I'm off to the pub. And that was back in the day, and I know that's for a fact. But the thing is, though, you could train for kickboxing for 17 to 20 years as he has done. He's institutionalized in his training. There's no amount of training that he's going to do at his age that's going to make him adapt to boxing, in my eyes, physically and with 100%. His lungs. Anybody want to disagree with that? No, I'll take it you're all in agreement then. Now, let's go next to the next fight, a proper heavyweight fight. And that's Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres Jr. There's a lot of hopes riding on Richard Torres Jr.'s shoulders in this fight, gentlemen, especially from an American point of view. Let's go to Homer Boxing first, Yep. Deontay Wilder, he held the crown, heavy like the crown for many years for Deontay Wilder. But Richard Torres, has to be the one in the fans' eyes over at the pond that's going to carry the hopes. He's got an unbeaten record of 14-0-0. He's beaten some good guys. Vianella. God, who's the last one he done? Can't remember. Was it Jarrell Miller? Baby Miller. He's that improving. I've been learning about this guy for ages, but for me, this is finally going to be the fight that gets Richard Torres Jr. Up onto that upper echelon in the rankings. Now, as I look for a prediction league, let's go to League One, and I can see that it's Richard Torres Jr. And not many people giving Frankie Boy a bit of a chance in this one, gents. So you're all saying what I'm saying right now, aren't you? Because only unanimous decision for young Sammy in League One went for unanimous decision with Sanchez, and we all thought he was drunk, the young man. He's got a very dodgy knee. He hasn't fought in a while. He's in activity, and he's up against a silver Olympic champion who's probably one of the most hungriest heavyweights I've seen in a long time in that ring. Moses Atuma is another one. I can't see many past these two who have got that utter ferociousness to finish you off in the ring. So, gentlemen, from a range of rounds between rounds 3 and rounds 9 and 10, Richard Torres Jr. is going to be the one. But what after Frank Sanchez? I believe this is the final eliminator for the IBF title. Usyk is going to have to either drop the belt or face one of these two guys. Homer Boxing.
Yes, no, I think it's definitely gonna be a good fight. I would give it a Frank Sanchez, but due to how he's been recently, ever since that Caballero fight, even in the fight we saw, he had like an knee issue during the fight, so that already like didn't give me as much hope to him, and that's why I saw what Caballero did to him. And after that, I don't think he's been back. Oh no, he did fight, but I think it was against like a journeyman, and then now he's
The
finally
dude was
back.
18 and 30.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's finally back against a real contender, and he's been training with Bomac. So I think that's a good coach. He's definitely going to teach him. They'll probably box around a bit, and then probably get Frank Sanchez's knee a bit loose again, where it's probably not going to hold up. And that's when I think Richard Torres is going to start applying the pressure in the later rounds, and then I think he'll be able to take him out. Probably the referee will probably just wave it off. Probably just be hitting him too much, and then it'll be a TKO.
Yeah, Alex.
I agree. The reason I picked Richard Torres Jr. for this fight is because Frank Sanchez has been in poor form as of late. He's not very active. And as a Cuban, yes, he's well schooled, but he's also likely older than he says he is. So I think his age, his inactivity, and just he doesn't have that drive really in him anymore. And he's going against a guy who has the drive, has the power, has the youth, and has the fitness to just wear him down. And I think Torres takes him out in round 9.
That's it, mate. DJ Pat, you picked, let's see, what round did you pick for Richard Torres? Round 8. You know, Sanchez, if you're on hindsight, would you want to change that prediction?
No.
Or you still think Sanchez is going to be difficult enough that round 8 is going to be about the time he folds up?
There is the time when it's going to be a RTD retirement. I don't think he will last the pressure from when Richard Torres starts put the pedal to metal and gas is on, and no, I don't see anything else.
I mean, all right, Brett. No, Richard Torres Jr., should he win this fight? With all the messing around with Alexander Usyk and his belts. I believe the IBF he'll drop again because no one likes the IBF belt, really, do they, as a heavyweight? Let's get that one straight. And he's won it back twice, so he won't care about dropping that belt.
Yeah.
Would that be the right time for a Moses Atsuma sort of fight with Richard Torres, or we still want to marinate that one for another couple of years?
Well, if he blows Hrgović out of the water, there's no turning back. There's no easy fights after that.
That's it.
So what'll have to happen is, if what we believe we've seen in this young man as well, Torres, if he's going to be the American version of Moses, then they're gonna have to pay a load of money at him, and they're gonna have to be fast tracked for that fight. Yeah, it can't marinate, mate. It all depends how they both look. This is a good fight for Torres. I think. I went late though. I went round 11. I mean, I could have dropped it a couple of rounds, but I'm almost thinking that he might want to impress too much, and go off his game a little bit and start swinging wildly. But I absolutely think he's going to get to him at some point and put him out. And then like we just spoke about, if what we're to believe Moses is going to do to Hrgović, which we're all super hot on him, there'll be some people that saying he's not going to be able to knock Hrgović out like he's knocked everybody else out. Well, if he does, then they're on a crash course to each other very, very soon here, mate.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. That 10 rounder with Guido Vianello, he had Vianello was holding him a lot, and thus he got 2 points taken off him through the course of the fight. He was denied that room to do a thing. Frank Sanchez could probably try and do a similar sort of strategy there, Alex. Do you think that? But because of his injuries, because of his inactivity, he's fought twice in 2 years. Frank, last year in that 3-rounder. The year before that 7th round knockout that he suffered. So, has he done enough to come back at this level and be competitive? Do you think?
I don't think so. I think this is a fight that he was practically forced to take because he'd been like so inactive, and they gave him the journeyman to beat up and be like, all right, now you're back in shape, quote unquote. Now you got to get in there with this young guy. And I think Richard Torres Jr. probably picked him because he's like, I can beat this guy. I think I think that the old man is washed. He's not what he once was. The Cuban Flash has slowed to a crawl, and I think Torres is just hungry for a big time knockout to announce himself on this world stage. Because yes, he beat Guido, but Guido is, a not well known guy. His best win is, Makhmedov, and that was when Makhmedov was, coming off another loss. So it
In
wasn't
his
the
peak.
biggest announcement for him. So
In
it
his
wasn't the biggest
prime,
announcement for Richard Torres
Makhmedov.
Jr., but this is the big announcement for him. This is
prime.
the statement win.
Are you breaking up a bit there, Alex?
Can you hear me now?
Right, you're gone. I get what you're saying. You're breaking up, mate. Can you hear me? Oh, we've lost Alex. Are you there, DJ Pat?
Yes, I'm here. But I need to say something. I was
Hello?
watching the press.
Anyone there? All right, thank you. You're watching the press conference?
Yeah, and Turkey said he wants to do Usyk versus Kabayel in Istanbul for next year.
Yes.
So
that was going to be my next point. They let it slip out.
But I don't think there will be no drop of belts, because then it's not for the unified heavyweight championship in that fight. So
I see what you mean. Yeah. Then he could be made to wait for a while. Then, yep, I get it. Well,
and same probably they will put up the heavy hitting Elif Nur Turhan on the same card also as her homecoming fight.
Yeah. You're back with us, Alex. Sorry about that. Maybe we had a bit of technical issues with your connection there, but you're back with us. Yeah, Richard Torres. He should come through this. He should get that, be next in line. It'll probably be another year before America gets to see him in a title fight. We'll see. Top Rank have got some work to do on that scale. But let's get to another fight. And this one, I come back to another sanctioning body blunder. The WBA have elevated Rolando Romero to super champ status against broken every rule in their own book. They're doing that. But it has opened the door for Jack Catterall to claim a title against Shakram Giyasov tomorrow night in Egypt. That's surely going to be a bit of an incentive to Jack. Has that sort of altered any of you guys' opinions on this fight? We'll start with Digipat.
Well, Catterall must win this fight in my mind, but I am starting to have doubts when he has left Busianis. That was doing something to his fighting style. There was something only that you could see only on one training camp, and now he is dropped. Busian goes back to someone in Liverpool. I don't remember who it was, but now I stick to my gun. He will take Gayasov out in the later rounds.
Right, you're sticking with that. Home of boxing, WBA, and the up elevating Rolando Romero. A, do you agree with that? And B, is this just another example of sanctioning bodies mucking up right now?
Yeah, no, I don't totally agree with that, but I see why they did it, and it does and then it did become a big issue. That was a big talk about the WBA doing that to Rolly yesterday. That was like all over boxing Twitter. A lot of people were not okay with that, and I definitely see why. But how you were just saying, Catterall versus Giyasov now has a chance to fight for the regular title, and then they'll be able to fight Rolly after. So as long as hopefully it does actually happen, and it doesn't allow Rolly to fight somebody else, I don't think there should be an issue. But we just have to wait and find out.
I think it will allow Rolly to fight someone else because, he could have just waited for Gassiev or the winner of this fight, to be next, or that this had to be petitioned by Team Romero to the sanctioning body. It's not something the sanctioning body just awards you. You have to petition for it. And the fact that the WBA have granted that petition, I don't know what it's based on, Alex and Brett. Can you shed any light on what evidence that Romero can produce to justify champion status like that? Because it's a pretty big thing, that super champion status. You got to defend your title for a start, and Romero hasn't done that.
Yeah, again, I mean this prediction show is being dominated with what these sanctioning bodies are just doing without any respect for the sport. I agree with you. I don't think Rolly Romero has earned that just yet, based off his last win out. He's going to be fighting this person, that person, the other person, but as of yet, we're not seeing him active. But we'll see how this fight plays out. I think I predicted that Catterall would win unanimous decision.
Yes, you're sticking by that.
I'm sticking by it. Yeah.
Okay then. The money has come on for Giyasov. By the way, his odds have shortened and all the bookies across the board. Maybe not. Let's hope not. Let's hope Great Britain, the United Kingdom, gets another world champion. And maybe another one to put on top of that, gentlemen. Hamza Shiraz is back against Alan Begic for the WBO vacant super middleweight title. It's according to Prediction League, this is a bit of a guaranteed, for Hamza. 29-0-1 Alan Begic. I know the resume doesn't come out, speaking volumes at you when you have a look at it. But I remember a guy called Graziano Rocchiagiani, the German guy. And no one expected him to beat Michael Nunn, especially not the WBC, who then stripped him 3 months later because they got the typography wrong. He was never supposed to win that. So, and Rocchiagiani actually sued the WBC for $31 million and won. But the other sanctioning bodies, the IBF, WBO, WBA, right, all begged by representatives sent to his house, begged him, Graziano Rocchiagiani, not to sue the WBC. They'll go out of business, and that'll be the end of boxing. And Rocchiagiani accepted $12 million instead of the 31 to save the WBC, and they never learnt the bloody lesson. And that's why they never enforced a mandatory for years after that. Now, Hamza Shiraz. Alex, tell me, what are you saying?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Nope, we've lost him.
Yeah.
Home of boxing. Question to you, mate.
Yeah, no. I definitely, after seeing the face-off, I probably should have gone a bit quicker for my prediction by Hamza Shiraz
Yeah.
KO. But I do think I think it will probably go no more than 5 rounds. I think Hamza Shiraz knows like he should make a statement, so he's definitely gonna come at him from the start, and I think he'll probably even hurt him from like the first 3 rounds. And then after that, it's just gonna be game over. I think after, so I don't think it goes past 5 rounds. Hopefully it does, but we'll just have to wait and find out. But I got Hamza Shiraz KO. I think in round 6 I put, but I honestly think I see it earlier.
Okay, thanks, mate. DJ Pat.
I don't remember what did I have TKO what round.
Let's have a look, Pat, for you. League One, you said, let's go back. Hamza Shiraz, knockout, round 6. You had the same as Homer Boxing, in fact. So, yeah, you both picked round 6.
I think it will take a time before he has break him apart, but
Yeah.
he will do it. He will do it clean this time also. It's like Homo Boxing said when I saw the weigh-in. It's much more taller. He's much more. There is something in his aura this time that I cannot touch, but it's like it's game on. It's game on this time for him.
Yes. Do you think he's now, got used to this level and what
Yes.
what's
Yes.
expected of him and that? Yeah, I'd say he's grown into it, hasn't he?
Yes.
Very much agree there, mate. Very much.
Andy
agree.
Lee has done a great job with him as well.
Oh, Andy Lee. Andy Lee's got to be one of the trainers of the year for me.
Yeah, no, he's definitely he's making a statement. I think he's gonna definitely. He might even win the award if it keeps on going.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, that is it for that part of the show, the prediction.
All right.
Okay, review. But let's get another quick 5 minutes on this sanctioning bodies. Now, as I said at the top of the show, are they playing into Zuffa's hands? It seems to be the consensus that they're not doing themselves any favors right now, the sanctioning bodies. What do you want to see change, gentlemen? We'll start with Alex. What do you want to see change over the next 12 months for these sanctioning bodies, to stave off this interest from Zuffa?
My dream scenario would be they throw Mauricio Suleiman in the bin, but they're never going to do that. So what I would like to see most of all is consistency, because even if you make a bad decision, if there is consistency with the rules, I'm like, hey, at least they're consistent. That's something you can fall back on, is consistency. They don't have that. Besides, going with the money, that's the only consistent thing. But I've already said that. These sanctioning bodies think they're too big to fail. And that is their big issue. If that would be the one change that you could make, is like, hey, listen, maybe we couldn't be around forever. If, we keep fooling around, we got to tighten it up. That would be the one big change I would make. It's like, hey, we may not be able to survive Zuffa because they have the Saudi backing. And since we don't have that, we have a contender for once.
Thank you, Alex. Homer Boxing.
Yeah, no, he said it. He said everything I agree with. Honestly, I just think it's consistency. They just got to keep it going. All the 4 organizations have to just keep it consistent, not pick and choose. That way they don't lose credibility. And since Zuffa's now in the game, it's the more like bad thing that they do, it just keeps on like people just keep on wanting to move on to Zuffa instead. So yeah, as long as they keep on staying consistent and do not just pick and choose, everything should go good. But it doesn't seem like it's going that direction. It just seems like it's honestly gonna stay like this.
They say
Yeah.
great minds think alike.
Absolutely. But I come to a DG Pat who's far more, let's say, reserved about that kind of wish list. DG Pat, are we convinced that maybe the sanctioning bodies are incapable of making their governorship level playing fields for all boxers due to money? It's just
somehow.
impossible, isn't it?
Somehow it is so. But what we all need to have out of another aspect here is how long will Saudi money drop in? Because you have seen Live Golf, it's already bankrupt. The football league in Saudi Arabia, it's starting getting down. They will not get as much money as they have. So how long will Turkey has the money to play with? That is my question because I don't think they will last so long as people think. And when the day when Turkey lost that tap of money was flowing out, then Safa is out of business directly. Bang, bang, right up.
Well, we were on the understanding that Ring Magazine and Zufbar is up from his own personal fortune, his own personal wealth. It's nothing to do with the
Yeah,
PIF.
yeah.
Now, the PIF have dropped
They say
sports like.
so, but he's backed by the Saudi government all the way. The money
I get
must
that.
come in from
I get that.
money come into his account from somewhere, and those money comes from backing what he gets from the PIF. That's it.
Yeah, totally understood. Totally understood. But while he is an entity, as a singular entity, he may last longer than the PIF. That's my point. Um, he's got his foothold into the establishment of boxing now. It's not something easy just discarded once, the PIF take,
And
their money away from boxing. But I'm not convinced that that's going to happen. I will bring you back in, Alex. I'm not convinced that's going to happen in the too near future because I blame all this on this Iran war with the United States. Because last
Bingo.
year, Israel and United States attacked Iran. That's when the PIF, and because they were getting bombed and threatened all the rest of it, they stopped the golf shows, said, like, we can't have events here at the minute. They stopped the Grand Prix. They stopped the snooker. They've stopped the games, the AI games and all the rest of they're a great backer of all the games online. They've all stopped because they were held in Saudi Arabia, and because of the local regional conflicts, they can't guarantee safety of any of the competitors. Now, that's why I don't believe that you'll see a Riyadh season boxing
But
event in Riyadh until this is, over.
but the much of the money is dropping into the military and everything what has done with the military from PIF and the Saudi government. So there are not much money what they can spend on these kinds of card notes for so long. That is my point. Before something has to happen.
So you're saying that the clock is ticking for Turkey Al Sheikh's involvement from
Yeah,
PR on a PIF level at least.
yeah. And it has been talking long time with that now. Since the war started, everybody knew something must happen with the money what they're sponsoring golf, football, snooker, and everything, and boxing also.
It's certainly an uncertain future at the minute in that region, Alex, and all the rest of it. There was always this conversation in boxing: how long will Turkey Al Sheikh be in the sport? People were giving him like a 5-year span. That would be it. 2030, he'll be out. Are you one of them that is on them similar thinking, or do you think he's in it for the long run?
I think he's personally in it for the long run because this dude loves boxing. That is one thing I can truly say about him, as much as I disagree about the other things. But what I think DJ Pat is not taking into account is that because he's partnered with a guy like Dana, who is very frugal with his spending on fighters, it's going to rein in Turkey and make it last a little bit longer than he might think it will. Because when he first came into the boxing scene, he was just throwing money at these fighters. He was throwing so much money that he even got Tyson Fury to, quote, come out of retirement and fight a dude he was afraid of. So now that he has a guy like Dana, who is very frugal and is a little bit more shifty with his spending, who is a little bit more choosy, I think it'll make Turkey's personal fortune last a lot longer than it would government intervention with the Saudi money. So that's what I think he's not considering.
Yeah, the man's a billionaire. Home of boxing, um, you have a similar mind that he could last the course, or are you with DJ Pat that the Saudi government money will inevitably influence Turki Al-Sheikh's decisions in the future to leave boxing?
I feel due to how heavy hitter he came from the start, that then yeah, he slowed down now, but I feel like he's just slowing down these other like sports. But when it comes to boxing, he came too crazy. Where I feel like if he even leaves anytime soon, many people are gonna like talk not as good as they were talking about him now. So I think he's really here. They'll be here for a good while. He's probably gonna stay in boxing for I give him probably 10 more years for sure. But if he runs out of money, which I doubt, but I think he'll definitely be in the game for a few more years until he's like had enough officially. But he definitely wants to make a name for himself and for his country. He wants to really represent boxing. He wants to make it a big thing for just Saudi in general. And then the other sports, yeah, he's probably gonna start like slowing down on those. But when it comes to boxing, I don't see him. I see him just starting to pick it back up, like how we've seen. He's gonna have more cards on September. And then probably more towards the end of the year, he'll probably have a few more. And then he has Zuffa as well. So he's just trying to stay in the game, I feel like, when it comes to boxing.
I totally agree. I mean, there is an argument for a mixture of the two viewpoints that could come into play. Yes, I don't see it as in near future that Turki Al-Sheikh could exit boxing. It depends on his paymasters. I would suggest back home in the next few years. Now, look, 2030 is their target for their infrastructure projects, 13 of them worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Then, they will continue. However, they'll hope that, the region will settle down once again. But any man who buys 13% stake in DAZN buys BoxRec outright, the Ring magazine outright, and Zuffa Boxing. So he's got his own broadcaster, he's got his own record data and records, and he's got his own sanctioning body. We have to consider longevity when you have a business plan structure like that. That this guy probably is in for the long run. However, you've got to remember when he was flaunting money about the PIF's money, the Saudis' money, it was all for the fact that he was appointed the head of culture in Saudi Arabia to oversee not only boxing, but all these major other infrastructure projects as well. He was responsible for the lots. He's not slowing down. I don't think he is. This guy's constantly planning forward. He's constantly making fights in on social media that people are saying you're crazy, and then a couple of months later saying, "Oh, look, this fight's real. It's going to happen." That influence, I just think, is not that momentum is not peaked yet. He's still pushing his stone up the mountain, and when he gets to the top and it goes over, the snowball will just grow bigger, and he'll get to the point where if money won't become a problem ever for this man, because the interest alone that he earns on his fortune will just swamp any expenses the boxing and Zuffa have. Well, look, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me tonight here, Rick on the Boxing, for this debate. I hope we've had fun with Mr. Neutral talking boxing. It's what we love to do, isn't it, guys? Here at the end of the day, we got the predictions in. Everybody knows what's going to happen tomorrow night, but look out for the implications of the sanctioning bodies and these belts tomorrow night and what it means. And that's always the content. It's always the ongoing story in boxing. It's not about the belts. It's about the boxer and who holds that belt that sanctioning bodies should consider in their matchmaking. I mean, if it's a guy who holds the belt that isn't the greatest star in the world, that's not his fault. he's the champion. You get the next man in the ranks to come and face that guy.
Exactly.
Until they get that level playing field in boxing, the sanctioning bodies are falling into Zuffa's hands, who will regulate boxing in the future and reshape it and model it how they want. Because as far as these sanctioning bodies are concerned, it's like they've totally lost their heads. Have fell off since Zuffa have entered the fray, and it's going to take a bit of work to get back to. I don't even want it back to what it was. I want them back to a new, reconstructed sanctioning bodies who have got more fairness in their in their policies and making fights. But to these gentlemen too, Alex the Great, to Homer Boxing and DJ Pat, and of course Brett the Boxer Man, who was with us. Thank you all for joining myself, Mr. Neutral, and this preview show. Join us next week again, and also on Wednesday for Prediction League. But we'll be back tomorrow night for watch-alongs. We're here at Red Corner Boxing. Hopefully a couple of these guys will be joining us, and we'll have some fun there as well. But until next time, from Alex, from DigiPat, and from Homer Boxing, from me, it's good night.
Step in the ring, no fear, all bite, hands up high. We train for this fight, bell gon' ring, it's war on sight. This is
Still live.
this is fight. Sweat on the floor, we grind, we climb. Every bruise on the body means we're on our